Hi guys, in today's episode we are going to talk about weaponizing Windows, or how attackers use native Windows tools to conduct their attacks. So coming up next on Hack Explorer. So hi guys, in this episode we are going to talk about the ways an attacker use Windows built-in tools to conduct their activities. This has been seen as a trend in the recent years, where it is known as living off the land. So living off the land means you don't have to download any tools, you can use the existing operating system tools. For example, Windows and Linux has a lot of tools that are used in networking, for creating users, to find out what users are there. So most of these tools are called dual face tools. The same tool which is used for troubleshooting and configuration can be used for attacking purposes. So this concept, if you follow on, this has been talked in the Wmic attack framework, and as well as there's a separate project called LOLBAS or LOLBAS. So if I show you some of the activities, this particular LOLBAS. So living off the line binaries. Here actually this is a project dedicated for Windows. You have a Unix binaries which is used for living off the land or in a separate page. So this will be considering on Windows tools. So there are many tools like @.exe, CMD.exe, and the function where the attacker use it. For example, the tool called certutility can be used to downloads. The @.exe can be used to execute. So my idea is in this video series we will see how at each stage these tools could be utilized. So today it's be Reconnaissance. If you go to Wmic attack framework, you have Reconnaissance, and most of those tools you'll be looking at the discovery phase. For example, if I take a tool called a network configuration discovery, the most commonly used is Ipconfig. So Ipconfig, we know it's used to get the IP information of the computer. But attackers can get very much information if they are new to a network. This tool will show everything about the network that we are seeing. So if I talk about the plan for our episode today we'll be talking about host reconnaissance, network reconnaissance, all using Windows built-in tools. And stick around me until the end of the video, where I will show you can actually create network scanners, port scanners using the existing tools within the Windows environment. You don't need Nmap or anything. We are going to only use some one-line code to conduct the scanning and the port scanning activity. Okay, so let's start with the most simple command, ipconfig. So I have a host machine running Windows over here. Let me jump into that. So I'm going to use a command prompt. You can use the Windows terminal, or in any Windows you will be using some PowerShell also. I'll be using another tool called CMD, which is actually a very intuitive command prompt. You can actually do Linux and Windows both stuff here, and it's very lightweight and it's free to use, and it looks sexy. So the first command is ipconfig. There is information here. What is the IP address that we have? Are we using IP version 6? But in Windows commands, you can actually get more information if you go to the help command. So this is how you go to the help. This may seem like a very basic tool. I'm using this tool to show you like what we are going to do from the other tools in the future. I won't be repeating this. So some additional commands and additional filters adding here will be useful in the other videos also. So as I told you, in the help menu, it will show you all the different switches, so attributes that you can get more information. One of my favorite is ipconfig/all, which will show you all the information like for each adapter. So we are running 2 adapters over here, and you can see the description and last obtained, the least obtained time. So this, we can see it's running a DHCP. What is the DHCP server? What is the DNS server? All this information. So it's a good idea to save this information as you find them. Okay. So one of the first thing that we can do is I'll actually go to my desktop environment. I'm going to create a directory called Reconnaissance. When you are running DOS commands like this, you can actually send these command output into a text file, ipconfig.txt. So I'm going to make sure all the output of this is going on. It's very fast. Oops, I didn't do something like this. If I go to Recon, I should have gone into that folder, and you can see this output will be there, right? That's a good way to save your findings over here. Okay, I'm going to go to the receipt recon folder. So I'll be doing all my activities and saving inside the Reconnaissance folder for later use. Now, so the next part what I'm going to show you is How do you extract information that you need from this command? Just say we need only the IP addresses from this output, not all of this information. So here I'm going to use a filter like this. This is called the pipe sign, which is on up to your enter sign, and I'm going to use a command called findstr. Findstr is simply find the string that you need. The string that I need is IP version 4. You can copy it. If you specify like this, since it's a string value, it's better if you have a space or anything, give it within double quotation, especially if you are using looking for spaces, it should be double. So string, just remember you have to give like this and press enter. Now you can see two outputs. It just extracted where the version IPv4 is there. A lot of people, what they do is, some people, this command won't work if you type like this because it's case sensitive. You can actually use a /i command to get the information that you need. Okay, you don't have to have the whole command. Also, if you just found the physical addresses, just type physical addresses. Okay, so you can see physical addresses, and you don't need to have the wildcards or anything like this. What if you want IP address and only the physical IP address? Okay, IPv4 and space and this one. So this is how you actually gather information using the findstr. We'll be using this function in a lot of other commands also, but I think you got a good idea. First we went to command and we went to the help menu. So what are the additional options that we have? And here you're going to use the findstr option to extract the information that you want. Same as this, you can also fig brief.txt. Yes. So if I press dir, you will be seeing the stuff over here, right? So again, Ipconfig, as I told you, attacker can get what are the DNS servers running, what are the DHCPs running, a lot of information by just using one command. Especially if you are interested, if you are performing a scan or something, you know the network sub-ranges and everything from here. Small command, but a lot of information. Okay, let's move into the next command that you need. Okay, so the next command that we are going to explore is system information. So Systeminfo is a tool that is run on very easy on Windows computers. Let me go to my computer here and I'll type sysinfo. So this will actually load all the operating system related information on your computer. For example, what are the juicy stuff that you find here? You'll find what version of operating system you're running, the host name, and actual version of it is of this operating system. You can check if there's any exploit available for this version, and what is running. Another information that I have, system model is VirtualBox. So if it's not a PC, you can see here actually I'm running on VirtualBox. You can find out more information, like for example whether this is a computer is joined to a domain or not. So you can see it's a workgroup computer. If it is domain computer, you will be find the domain control login over here, and more importantly, what are the latest updates that are installed. So if you have a vulnerability, you can exploit it and you can see if the corresponding updates has been installed or not. So this is also another useful information. So I'm going to save this information into my file, and yep, let it send the file. And if I find it, you can see I have ipconfig. Okay, I have 3 files. Let me see. It was there. So brief and systeminfo. Again, it's all open from Notepad. More information over here. Let's go to the next command. Okay. So the next one is, you might want to know what type of programs are running in your computer. One of the best places to get this is the Tasklist, which is like the task manager for DOS. So I'm going to clear this one. I'm going to type Tasklist. So if you go to Tasklist, you can see all of your programs that are running. So this is very similar to Task Manager. You can see what are the pre-run processes are, what are the things that are running in your computer. So this one has a lot of attributes inside this one. So if I go to the help menu, this first function, tasklist/m, let me show that to you and explain. And capital M, make sure if it is case sensitive. Okay. So this one is actually, if you're looking for malware analysis and all of those stuff, he actually shows you what are the DLLs that are loaded for each exe. So if you have a suspicious DLL that was discovered in your investigation, you can check what DLL is actually, what exe is actually using the DLL. Let me show you, like, for example, WS32. Okay, so WS32 actually was used for, like, for example, if you type like this, so these are the applications which are using WS32. As I can remember, if some program is using WS32 DIL, that program is trying to connect to some network function, so internet actually. It makes sense because Microsoft Edge is using WS32, your phone, browser brokers, so you can see most of, and we have some PowerShell connectivity also. Okay, other thing that is used in Tasklist, you can see I'm going to use the SVC function. These are all the services. So you have programs, processors, and services. Programs are the things that our users execute. Processors are like one program can have multiple processors which are actually running in memory, and services which is running from system boot to system end. So these are the background programs that are running. So a malware could exist in all different ways. It could be a program, it could process, most probably could be a service also, or otherwise in Linux world you call it as daemons. So if you want to see all the services that are running in your computer, this is one of the things that you can see. So because this is a vanilla installation of Windows, so if you have SQL Server service running, a Splunk running, you'll see the corresponding ES. I have SQL right over here. Okay, so these are also important information. So I'll save this as services, and I can just put the task list. Okay, so up to now we have talked about IP, services, and task list. So we have idea of what are the processes. So the next command we are going to do here is, let's check what is the next command. Okay, so who am I? So who am I is like it reminds me of all Jackie Chan movies. So it actually gives about the currently running user. So let's see what this tool can help us with. So this is one of the best tools to find out what is the current user account that you are using in this machine. If you are using another person's machine, just go out and type who am I, and it will show, okay, the account name is actually I'm using user. Okay, if you want to find out more information, okay, what does this username? Okay, let's go to this one. So username is you can find the SID. This is the unique ID for this user account. Okay, and what are the groups that he using? He's in, I can see here, special group. He's an administrator group. So this user is having administrative privileges. What are the privileges that you have? Usually if you have administrator, you can shut down the system, increase the port. You get almost the same as the stuff as the administrator if you are in the administrator group. So this information is very important information. If you are like compromised a machine, if an attacker comes into a machine, he can find out what if user he is running at. So if you are low privilege user and high privilege user, in this case, if an attacker comes into this machine and if he finds this information, he knows he's a privileged user and he can do a lot of malicious stuff in this machine. So that's why this information is very important. Okay, so who am I actually supplies very much information. So who am I .txt. So that's another going into another information. So the next command is actually, if I go here, okay, the net commands. So the net commands will allow you to find some more information on Windows users and other network stuff also. Okay, so such as net user, net local group. So this is actually like browsing the Windows users and groups method, but in using the command line. So we'll get the information that we need from the Windows command line like this. Let me jump in and I'm going to clear this screen and I'm going to just increase the font size so it will be clear for you. So if you just type net has a lot of commands. For example, account, computer config. I'm going to concentrate on the user part of this one. For example, if you want to find all the users in your computer, just type net user. So these are all the user accounts that you have in the computer. Net user, guest, Hishan, Ben, and okay, if I finally see a user called Ben, If I want to find more information on Ben, so if I type Ben over here, you'll find all the information related to that person also. Okay, so I can see this guy is Ben and he has set the password on 11/14th. Okay, and he can log into this machine. Yep, and last log on he has never logged on. And if you see here, local group manager chief, he's a group of the administrators. So you can see you can get many information about a single user, and you can actually find who are the administrators, who are the users over there. So there's another easy method for this one also. For example, another technique that I just remembered that attackers use is like you can actually use this command. I can remember when I want to see like when was the last login of this user for the particular computer, I use this. I'm going to use a simple dir command. Now this is also another living off the land technique to find out who are the recently logged on users. So if I go to the system drive, that is C and users, I'm going to direct list all the files over here. So for this computer, you can see the only logged on user is this particular user account. Actually, what this displays is, if you go to C users, so whenever user login, this time is updated. So you can actually use this method to find out the latest login user and to find out what are the user accounts that are available. For each user account that you log in, if you type over here, you can see a folder for that respective user. Okay, so that is another additional thing that you can get user accounts also. So if you want to see who are the administrators, let's see what are the local groups of this computer. So if I say local group, these are the local groups that are available. So I have a group called administrators. Let's see who are the administrators in the computer. So if I say local group administrators, oops, I misspelled traitors, yes. Remember, I'm not using elevated command prompt or something. This is just a normal user running Windows commands and getting enumerating information on the network. So administrator, Ben, user, these are the three user accounts which are having administrative access. Okay, this is something that I want to save for my computer. So I'll say admin accounts.txt. Okay, so that is something interesting. Again, just explore all the net commands. You can have net accounts, again net accounts. If you type this command over here, this will show the password policy of the computer. For example, how many passwords, minimum password age 0 days. That means you can change the password immediately. Maximum password age is 42. I want to look at the lockout threshold. This is not a good setting. So account won't be locked out for these machines. So this machine is vulnerable for brute forcing. So that's not a good setting to keep in a machine. So you can keep on trying forever. Normally you could see it will be threshold like 3, 5, 10 or something. But here you can just explore these net commands because there's a lot of options. And my guide is actually go to MyAttack and see these commands being used. For example, ipconfig /all. So just go to the discovery phase. So network scanning, network sniffing, these kind of things. They show the Kali Linux tool as well as the tool that we are using for like the Windows live off the land alternative also. Okay. So the next one is actually I'm going to a netstat command. This one actually I'll show you. Maybe you have some connections that are made in computer whenever if it is connected to internet. So this machine is connected. So if I go to netstat, this will show you like the network connections that is actually being currently used right now, what currently being established right now. So you can see my machine, this particular IP has connected to a lot of HTTP IP addresses. So I can see these are like Microsoft connections which are established. Maybe it is having some updates. Yep, there are some updates running over here. Another thing that you want to see is when attackers use this one, they want to see if there's any web servers or anything is running, but I can see there's not much web server activity that I hear. All these things that I'm seeing is like from local machine to remote machine we are connecting. If I get the help of this computer, So by running the help, you can see you can have switches like A to display all the connections and listening ports. I think we got only the established and the connected ports over in the current one. Let's try that one. -A. It's listening, established, closed. Yeah, you can see many more information displayed over here. Another thing is, as you can see in the help menu, B display the executable, and O was on in the process ID information. So you can get a lot of information like this. One of the most popular command is, if you want to see all the connections that are running in your computer with the relevant information used and all things, is -ANOB. Yeah, so again, when you run this command, this needs elevation. Elevation means this command needs some more writes in order to run and get information. So what I'm going to do is, actually I can run this as a normal command prompt. I'll open another command prompt as administrator and run the same command over here. Okay, so actually you can see here SV host is connecting, listening, and yep, we have some established connection. You can't get the spool, so this is the print spooling server which is trying to connect, and it's actually listening for incoming connections. So if there's a print or something, it's connecting over here. Let's see any other stuff that are interesting. You have okay, SV host running in UDP for DNS cache. Yep. So this is pretty good information that we need to connect on what programs, what internet connected programs, and what network ports are opened and what are listening over here. So let me save this also in my C. Yep. And I have this kind of information over here. Okay, so I hope you got the idea of like how to find the network connections. Some commands require elevated command prompt. Okay, now next command is we are going to look at Wmic. Wmic is called using a protocol called Windows Management Instrumentation. As it says, Wmic is the infrastructure for management, data, and operation of Windows operating system. So Windows actually use Wmi to exchange information. We also can use to get more information from local machine as well as remote computers. So this just says we use Tasklist to get information on our computer, but using Wmic we can get the task list of another computer. Just imagine if an attacker has administrator access, and if we can gain the same admin account is used on the other side of network also, we can use that credentials and this command to get what is running on other computers also. So if I show you a small brief, I won't go take that much for Wmic. I'll show you how it's happening. So if I type Wmic process, so the protocol is Wmi. The command line for using the Wmi is Wmic command. Okay, when you're first using Wmic, it will be like very messy, the output. So you have a lot of output filters and all of those stuff when you're getting information like this. So my idea is, you can see Wmic process list brief. So here I'm going to use the command list when you can get the information. Again, it's not here, and I'm going to type BRIEF, which is again another command to make sure it's very easily identified. Okay, another command that I want to say is, if I want to get the BIOS information of my computer, there are other commands I'm sure, but this is another command. Yep, so it's a virtual box running and all of those stuff. Let's see if there's any other interesting stuff over here. Yeah, you can actually get the startup. What are the files that is starting up in this computer? So I have three things. OneDrive is starting from here, and this is the path, VBox tray, and security health. Okay, so there's a lot of other Wmic commands also. So my suggestion is like to go through all of these things. You might have like for example, there are some duplicated commands, some net commands that we use also here. So you can get the user accounts, groups, sys accounts, but there is a lot more than this. Okay, I can see another one more interesting thing. You can actually get what type of antivirus path that you are running over here. Let me try that one also. Yep, there's a lot of commands. Yep, and yes. So the antivirus product that we are using over here in this message is Windows Defender. Very important information for a guy who has not seen the GUI and he's only having a backdoor from a command line access. Still you can say what are the processes. You can also use the process task list, but here actually it is very informative where it is running and what are the stuff that you are doing. Especially if you are writing a script and if you want to see what are the antivirus programs that are running with the exact name, you can get it over here. Okay, right. So Wmic, it's a very popular command. There's a ton of commands where you can get the information about a host or the host network. Okay, and what is next? So the next thing is, as I promised you in the beginning of the video, we are going to see some batch scripts. So here actually we are going to see how an attacker can use the ping command to scan the network. Now we might want to find out what are the live hosts. You can ping all the machines or you can make it automated on this one. You can use Nmap, but if you don't have access to Nmap, still the user can find it over here. Okay, so first let me explain you the code. First of all, I'm going to see my IP configuration. So I have two IPs over here. In this network, I have some vulnerable machine that I want to find out what are the live hosts. I'm going to use this IP range. So I'm going to actually copy that command and explain it to you. So this is the first part of the command. There's nice stuff from here. So here actually we are using a batch script. So this is a for loop, okay, which I'm going to run this ping command in a loop. So it'll be pinging one by one. So ping command, if you ping one thing, for example, let me show you one live host machine in my network. So if I ping my own computer, that is 192.168.56.1, which is my host computer over here, you'll get more replies. So Windows will be trying 4 times and it'll give out. What if there's an IP? I think there's no IP called 60. Let me check. So it'll try and destination host unreachable. Okay, you can actually control the ping command, give only one try. So n equals 1, I think, which will actually try only once and the command stops. This is how we use the loop. We try once, and if the machine doesn't respond, we just go to the other machine. If we have a reply, we record that. So in this command, this one will run from 1 to 100. So it will scan from 1 to 100 IPs. Let me do it for 150 IPs. Okay, do the ping command, and I give my subnet range here 192.168.56, and I is actually the changing number. You can see I have specified from 1 to 150, and this will be trying 1, 2, 3, and this is the wait time. Like for example, /w, it will if you can't do anything, the wait time is like reduced. It will stop in 10 seconds and go back. And N1 means try it only one time. Okay, let me try this command. I can see it's running quite fast. If the request timeout is like, it won't stay for that long. It won't try again and again. It will just go through this one. What we can actually add to this command is, because if I think my first machine is alive. Yeah, you can see only one reply. All the other commands are like request timeout, request timeout. Now we just want a machine that has the word containing reply. I'm going to say to DOS find the str, ignore the characters, /i, and I'm going to say search for the fourth reply. If you find reply over here, if any machine has a reply, it will show us here. So I have 56.1 which is running. Unfortunately, we don't have a progress or anything, but this tool has keeps on connecting the background. Let's see if they find another one. Another thing is, can you also use the TTL keyword, because TTL, time to live value, only returns when a particular IP has replied and the TTL is high or low. So if you have the word TTL, you can also search for that one. let's run this tool for some second, and we'll find if there's any other host in the network. So it will scan 150 machines, and it's not super fast, but you can see it will run and it will give the information that is needed. Okay, so I have 1.1, 1.100 and 106. Okay, 115. Okay, which is interesting. I also didn't know that was alive. Okay, I think 115 is this machine. We'll see. Okay, so these are the live machines in your network, which is very impressive. Okay, and the next thing is, if you find this type of information, the next thing will be we can actually do a port scan, a tool like Nmap or something. To go more advanced, actually we are going to PowerShell. Now, in this video, since it went too long, I'm actually going to show only one thing in PowerShell. We are going to use it as a port scanner now. So PowerShell, actually, if you go through PowerShell, you will find all the alternative for the commands that we use. You can get users, you can get the system, but I want to show you like what are the exes that are responsible. So in case of PowerShell is being disabled, the other tools are still active, most of the tools. So PowerShell is very dangerous. Most of the companies have a lot of restrictions onto this one, but still some are running without them. So here actually, let's run this one. So according to this scan, I have 4 machines online. I have a machine, you can see this is the 56106 machine, which is running over here, and it's a very old Windows XP machine running a web server MySQL, and it has huge number of ports that are opened. So we'll see how our port scanner performs to capture these particular ports, if they are running or not. So the machine is running on 56106, and I'm going to actually show you the code again, and here this one. So let me copy the code and I'll explain it to you. But before running this command, I might need to run, this is not a DOS command, so this is a PowerShell interface. You can just type PowerShell, oops, and it'll actually go into PowerShell command. But you can also use the Windows latest terminal, which is actually running command prompt, and even you can install Ubuntu or anything. Actually Ubuntu is already installed. So I'm going to use Windows PowerShell window over here. So I'll paste the command over here and I'll show you how to run this command. So again, this is also a concept of a loop, this PowerShell command. It's running from 1 to 0 to 4, and I'm not running as administrator. I hope it works properly. And it's using the sockets class, and using the TCP client, and it's connecting to this particular IP. But I just want to say, I want to scan my IP, which is, as I can remember, 106. Yep, I'm going to scan 106. So the first 1024 ports. You can increase the number. In Windows you have, in operating systems you have 65,000, more than 534 ports. So I'm just going to scan the 1024. And if the port is open, I should get the port number as well as the message port and the port number, and it's open or not. So it's only going to show you the open ports. So let's see how our port scanner works. Since this is not that much of an efficient port scanner, I might cut the video and jump into the end and show you the result.
A few moments later.
So I ran this tool for about 5-10 minutes, and it's still scanning the network for the first time, but I can see like it's running slowly, but it is giving very accurate results. So if I show you my Windows XP machine over here, so it has found the FileZilla service running on 21, and 25 I have a Mercury email service. 79 is also used by Mercury, 80 is opened by Apache, 105, 106, 110, 105, 10, again a Mercury ports. You can see the port scan is working, and it's very slow, but if you don't have a tool and if you have one way to have time to scan it, this is one of the options that you can have. So if you have more efficient scripts than this and it's easy to use, please post them in the comment window. And if you have any other tool, if you believe like I have missed any other tools during this investigation, please let me know. And another thing is, I highly recommend you to go to the MIT Attack framework as well as the LOLBAS library. Just to show you example, right? For example, in the next videos we'll be discussing in detail. If you go to add.exe, it can be used to execute. Actually, it's creating scheduled tasks. So if you go inside, you can see how to create a scheduled task, and this one you can see this is how attacker used the add.exe for every day at 9 a.m. You can see every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday he can actually run the reverse shell.exe. So this is like a backdoor using a Windows native command. Maybe he downloaded the reverse shell separately, but you can use the Windows command to make sure your command reverse shell runs on a timely manner. So this is the type of information that you get from LOLBAS library. There is a lot, and we are going to get these commands. So let our port scanner run. I'll show you the results next day if there's any problem. Please run it yourself. I'll share you these commands. And the next week episode, we'll be talking about how to transfer payloads using the Windows network commands. You might not have access to Internet Explorer and all of those stuff, but other than the default browser or downloading softwares, you can use other Windows tools to download content from the internet or the network. So this uploading and downloading both can be done by transferring payloads. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment window, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe.